Hey everyone, it's time for some more Jensen Sports Talk. So, an epic World Cup final happened yesterday with Argentina beating France three on penalty kicks after 3-3 after extra time tie. Just pretty remarkable, great achievement for Argentina and Messi. The thing I want to pick out is so many people have been talking about how, and I touched on this in the last video, how Messi is the greatest of all time now because of that. And I don't want to argue that he's not. I want to argue that this doesn't mean that he is. So in comparing strikers and soccer players, obviously him and Ronaldo are up there as the two probably best of this generation. I think it's hard to compare different generations as well. I mean, is Messi as good as Pele? I don't know. I don't know that we can know that. But just because your team wins a World Cup doesn't mean that you are the best player. Again, Argent- Argentina had one of the best teams. And soccer is a very much a team sport. It is not like basketball where you can have one guy that can basically carry you almost all the way if he's good enough. Uh, Soccer is you have to rely on everyone. I take what I think is could be the best striker, goal scorer. It's either him or Ronaldo. Is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Yeah, he plays for Sweden, a very good team, but not a great team. Um, I mean, Zlatan scores goals in crazy ways and better than anyone that I've seen, in my opinion. Now, to say that he's not one of the best goal scorers ever because Sweden hasn't gotten very far in the World Cup with him is a joke, in my opinion. Ronaldo, saying Messi is better than Ronaldo because Ronaldo hasn't gotten to a World Cup final isn't fair because you're not comparing player to player. You're comparing Argentina to Portugal. I don't think there's anyone that thinks that Argentina isn't better than Portugal. So, and it's not just because Argentina has Messi and Portugal has Ronaldo. So that can't be a criteria. Now, again, I think there's a good argument to say that Messi is probably the best. I personally still, like I said, think Ronaldo is. I could see it go either way. I mean, you look at what they do with their club teams, which is much better, you know, better judgment and measuring stick on how you can do as a player. And Messi, when he was with Barcelona in 2009, 2010, I mean, those teams were probably the best soccer teams ever with Barcelona there. I mean, absolutely unbeatable. Manchester United ended up going up against them in the Champions League final, had no shot, no shot. They were clearly better. And that's not just because of Messi again. It's because of their entire midfield was so dominant. It was ridiculous. Now, Ronaldo, again, he's had some pretty darn good teams. The Champions League winner with Manchester United, that was a very good team. Not as good, I don't think, as Messi's Barcelona teams, but it was a very good team that ended up beating Chelsea. His teams with Real Madrid, very good teams. Obviously, if you're playing for Real Madrid, you're going to be, have some of the top players there is. I don't think his teams were ever quite as dominant as Messi's Barcelona. Again, those Messi Barcelona teams in the early 2010s, they were probably the best soccer teams there were ever. So, having said that, that is more where you can compare things. And again, like Messi getting credit for a lot of the goals. Well, a lot of them are penalties that he didn't necessarily draw. So again, although you could say the same thing with Ronaldo, a lot of his goals have been penalties. So what? Just going to reiterate my point again: the best there is isn't determined on if you win the World Cup. Now, I think that's a good thing to put the feather in your cap, but that doesn't mean you're a better player or a worse player. If you there are, if Usain Bolt, to go into track and field, if Usain Bolt was from Trinidad and Tobago, whatever, however you say that, instead of Jamaica, and so he never won the 4x1 on a relay team, that wouldn't mean that he wasn't the best there was. So, anyways, that's my point. Just because your team wins the World Cup doesn't mean you are automatically the best player ever. If you want to make the case that Messi is, fine. You want to make the case Ronaldo is, fine. I think there's cases for both of them, and I don't think this makes any difference in it. All right, let's get into some college football bowl games for the rest of this. So tomorrow we've got Eastern Michigan and San Jose State. Oh, and first, there's been some good bowl games. Again, like I said, you never know with bowl games. They're impossible to connect. Oregon State destroying Florida. Well, Florida didn't want to be there and had a JV team. I think Oregon State would have beat them regardless if Florida had all their starters and were the best there was, but the best there was this year for them. I think Oregon State still would have beat them, but yeah, it is what it is. BYU had a good showing there. Again, lots of backups playing, being able to stop SMU at the end. That was good for BYU moving into the Big 12. Anyways, bowl games for coming up. We've got Eastern Michigan and San Jose State. Like San Jose State, I'm not gonna say I have any knowledge in this game at all. I have no idea what will happen in this one. There's Liberty and Toledo in another one. I like Toledo in this one. I think with Liberty losing the head coach, going over to Auburn, I don't think they're losing the quarterback. They're not going to be in a place to win this game. So I like Toledo in that one. Wednesday, there's Western Kentucky and South Alabama. I like South Alabama in this game. I think they're a solid team. Just they're ready to win. They were up there competing with Troy, and they're ready to win. I don't think Western Kentucky can compete with them. We've got Baylor versus Air Force on Thursday. I like Air Force in this one. Air Force, Baylor's going to be ready for the triple option. They're going to be ready for what Air Force brings, but Baylor hasn't been impressive this season. They've lacked on offense, and their defense has been suspect. So I like Air Force winning this one. Friday, we've got a few. We've got Louisiana and Houston. I like Houston in this one. I think there's too much offense for Houston. And then Wake Forest and Missouri. I like Wake Forest in this one. Again, this should be a high-scoring game, Wake Forest and Missouri. Again, who knows who's playing, who's not, but I like the Demon Deacons to come out on top on an offensive thing. And then we'll do one more here. We'll do two more because I don't know how many videos I will do. So we'll do Middle Tennessee and San Diego State. I like San Diego State in this one. I think the Mountain West is much better than what Middle Tennessee brings. And then on Monday, the day after Christmas, we've got New Mexico State and Bowling Green. Bowling Green will win this. New Mexico State scraped into a bowl game, and a good accomplishment for them. But I think the Bowling Green is going to win that game. So anyways, that's some predictions. The following week, we'll start getting into some of the big bowl games, so that should be exciting. I can't think of anything else going on, so have it good. Bye.